The men convicted of killing rapper Foolio were found dead in prison just days after receiving their sentences, and now all eyes are on law enforcement as questions arise about how the case was handled.
I haven't seen more thorough policing than that. That almost leads me to believe that maybe the feds lent a hand for some assets or resources, or maybe that they got a bigger case.
Case moved at lightning speed, and now with 2 suspects permanently silenced, everyone's asking the real question: who wanted them gone and why? Let's break it down. The Foolio 5 and the Florida bloodbath. Everyone thought it was over. Just days after being sentenced for the cold-blooded murder of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio, 2 of the convicted men were found dead in their prison cells. And Harris, where things get dark, rumors suggest this wasn't random prison violence. This was calculated. This was payback. And maybe, just maybe, it was covered up by the very people meant to protect them until appeal. But the most shocking twist, it hasn't even surfaced yet. Because if you think Foolio's death was tragic, if you think this was just another gang feud spiraling out of control, you're missing the bigger picture. This was never just about one rapper. It was about revenge, about control, and about a justice system that's starting to look less like law and order and more like a modern-day Coliseum. So how did things unravel so fast, so violently? How did 5 people, including a pregnant woman, become entangled in one of Florida's most brutal murders, only for 2 of them to be erased before their appeal? Let's rewind this catastrophe. Julio Foolio, born Charles Jones, was no stranger to chaos. His name echoed through diss tracks, rivalries, and street gossip. But to his fans, he was more than a provocateur. He was a survivor, a raw, unfiltered talent who had escaped death more than once. That survival streak ended on June 23rd in the parking lot of a Tampa hotel, the Home 2 Suites near USF, where 31 bullets marked the final chapter of his story. As shocking as that sounds, it was far from the beginning. According to police, 5 individuals made the 3-hour drive from Jacksonville to Tampa with one purpose: to kill Foolio. They tracked his every move as he celebrated his birthday, hopping from club to club. The suspects were identified as 30-year-old Rashard Murphy, 27-year-old Dave Murphy, 21-year-old Isaiah Chance, 21-year-old Elisa Andrews, the pregnant woman, and 18-year-old Sean Garrett. These weren't professional hitmen. They were young, reckless, and armed with more ego than experience. Once the shooting went down, the evidence stacked up fast: surveillance footage, phone records, even ring camera clips showing the group preparing their weapons like they were filming a rap video. The case had more proof than an IRS audit. Investigators say the shooters waited patiently across the street as Foolio pulled into the hotel parking lot. No panic, no hesitation, just precision. When the ambush ended, Foolio was gone dead in the passenger seat of a bullet-riddled car, hit by a mix of rifle and handgun fire. And the most chilling part, after the execution, they celebrated.
And Davion texted, his thirst has been quenched. And let's go pop a bottle of Don Julio when we get back to Jacksonville. So it's like, I don't know, bro. If you're looking at candidates to fry, like, that would be the one, right? Like, if you wanted to, okay, we have a death penalty, who deserves it? Like that, I don't know. I would think it would be.
They popped bottles. They bragged online. They even joked in private DMs, treating the murder like some kind of twisted scorecard in a drill rap feud. But fast forward a few months and 2 of them are dead before they could even reach the final sentencing stage. This wasn't just a trial, it was a countdown point. One of the suspects, 21-year-old Elisa Andrews, didn't run. She folded, almost immediately cooperating with investigators and handing over evidence that turned the case upside down. According to authorities, her phone data showed she had tracked Foolio's every move that night, every party, every club, every stop. She never pulled the trigger, but police say she made the hit possible.
Well, last time we did an interview, Foolio had just gotten killed. Now, most of the people are caught. The girl that gave the location, she's cooperating.
Let that sink in. A 21-year-old pregnant woman now facing life in prison, or possibly worse, all because she was sending location updates to her boyfriend and his crew. And let's be real, she's probably going to flip. Court filings reveal she's the only one who didn't waive her right to a speedy trial, a move many legal analysts see as a strategy to cut a deal and avoid a life sentence or the death penalty. Even Boozy weighed in, claiming that officers were joking about Foolio's death and that the entire case reeked of bias and corruption. But the story only gets darker. Rashard Murphy, one of the alleged gunmen, reportedly asked to represent himself in court for a death penalty case. This wasn't traffic court. This was "you might die by lethal injection" court. Yet he believed he could outsmart the system. Spoiler, he couldn't. According to Fox 13, Rashard Murphy is now one of the 2 suspects found dead in prison under mysterious circumstances. Was it inmate retaliation, a revenge hit tied to Foolio's affiliations, or something even more sinister, something inside the system itself? The Florida Department of Corrections isn't exactly known for transparency, and Lowell Correctional Institution, where Elisa Andrews may serve her sentence, has a long history of violence, corruption, and fear both from inmates and the very staff meant to protect them.
She's going to have her baby in jail. That baby will be taken away from her, and she'll have to serve the rest of her time. And she's going to do her very best to snitch as hard as possible to minimize her time in that jail so she can get with her newborn baby.
And I'm gonna be honest too. Like, she's most likely still gonna get time. They're gonna send her to low CI, and low CI is a good spot. Like, you got getting bucked in there, so it's like you're like a famous rat.
As for the shooters, they were transferred to Florida State Prison, a facility infamous for scandal. Over the years, it's seen guards charged with murder, inmates dying under mysterious circumstances, and cover-ups so wild they'd make a Netflix docuseries look mild. It's the kind of place where the system starts to devour itself. So when the next chapter unfolded, no one was surprised. Just days after sentencing, both Rashard Murphy and Sean Garrett were found dead. Unconfirmed reports claim one was killed during a fight with another inmate, a hit allegedly ordered through gang ties, while the other's death remains under investigation. And just like that, what was once an airtight case began to collapse in a whole new direction. Point 2 key suspects gone. Elisa Andrews flipping. And Dave Murphy, the last man standing, caught because he couldn't stop posting online. He literally taunted people from Jacksonville, bragging that he ain't going nowhere. Turns out he was right.
That's his final. He's a dumb mother, because he was going on one of those like little chat things online, talking, saying, "I'm gonna pull up, I'm gonna do this," and the whole time he was in Jacksonville. Like, he never left.
This man planned an assassination, carried it out, and then had the audacity to stay in the very city where he knew police would come looking first. They called them the Foolio 5, but now it's down to 3, and there's already blood on the floor before the trial even begins. Just when it seemed like the system had finally locked the Foolio 5 down, everything started to crumble. Let's talk about Dave Murphy, the last one caught. Not because he was clever, not because he vanished or covered his tracks, but because he didn't. He stayed put in Jacksonville, running his mouth online, posting on anonymous chat apps like he was invincible. Point 1 post literally dared people to pull up. Another made it sound like he was untouchable. That arrogance, it's what led the cops straight to him.
So they just arrested the final suspect.
Right.
He was on the run for 6 months. And there's a photo that we'll show right now. He's actually smiling.
Yeah.
You know, after they cuff him up. I guess, I don't know, he goes to act tough.
Yeah, that's his final hoorah before it's honey buns and noodles forever. That's his final. He's a dumb mother.
Devon never left town. Authorities didn't need advanced tracking tools or high-tech surveillance to find him. His own arrogance did the job. This wasn't a man running from prison. This was a man chasing clout until the cell door slammed shut behind him. But what Devon did before his arrest may explain everything that followed. Remember the name Spaz. Spaz was allegedly Devon's brother, and he was reportedly killed in a previous gang-related shooting connected to one of Foolio's close associates. Foolio didn't just answer with music, he crossed a line. Videos surfaced showing Foolio's affiliates desecrating Spaz's grave, even urinating on it. Foolio himself reportedly referenced the act in his lyrics, taunting the dead with a level of venom few rappers would ever dare to record. Mob James broke it down clearly. The motive wasn't just beef, it was blood. So when Devon and Rashard allegedly opened fire on Foolio that night outside the Tampa hotel, many believe it wasn't about rap or disrespect, it was personal vengeance, and that's where the story takes a darker turn. The same people who mocked Foolio's death, who brushed off his mother's cries for justice, are now the ones investigating how 2 of his killers mysteriously died behind bars. When Foolio was gunned down, he was being followed by multiple vehicles. Investigators pieced the puzzle together through surveillance footage, license plate readers, and even Cash App transactions. One of the shooters allegedly used a Cash App card to book the hotel room. Another was captured on Tesla and Ring camera footage, crystal clear video showing him loading what appeared to be AK-style rifles into a car before the hit went down.
You got the Teslas. They're acting like Sentries with 360 camera. It's the clearest camera ever, 4K.
This was a digital crime scene from start to finish. They didn't just get caught, they practically documented their own downfall, leaving behind a breadcrumb trail of evidence that prosecutors are now tearing apart piece by piece. But Harris, why that matters. When Rashard and Sean turned up dead behind bars, the Florida prison system couldn't or wouldn't give a straight answer. At first officials blamed it on routine inmate violence. But whispers from inside tell a different story. Word spread through the yard that Foolios' ties ran deeper than just rap, that people on the inside knew exactly who the shooters were and decided to handle justice the old-fashioned way. One anonymous account claimed Rashard was cornered in a hallway, beaten savagely, and left without medical help for hours. Another alleged that Sean never woke up killed in his sleep. None of these details have been officially confirmed, but if even a fraction of it is true, the issue isn't just that they died, it's how and who allowed it. Because if the Florida Department of Corrections is turning a blind eye, then this story stops being about gang retaliation and starts becoming one about state-sanctioned revenge. Just listen to what 1090 Jake had to say about the Florida prison.
Spot. You got getting fucked in there, so it's like you're like a famous rat. You know what I mean? But they more so be going after the girls that be killing their own kids and like crazy shit like that. The low CI, the Florida Department of Corrections doesn't talk. It's very much like war. You know what I mean? You got COs killing people, inmates killing people. So what they have to look forward to isn't anything nice. And then obviously if any of them get that, that's a whole nother.
This isn't speculation, it's a pattern. Florida's correctional institutions have long been notorious for brutality, inmate deaths, and systemic abuse. And whether people want to believe it or not, the evidence points to something far darker than justice. This was erasure. They didn't want a trial. They wanted silence. And they got it. 2 suspects silenced forever. A system that kills before the verdict. By the time the second body hit the prison floor, no one was asking, how did this happen? They were asking, how did no one see it coming? Florida's prison system has survived countless scandals, but the speed and secrecy surrounding the deaths of Rashard Murphy and Sean Garrett, 2 of Julio Foolio's alleged killers, has raised alarms even within law enforcement circles. Insiders claim there were red flags everywhere. Fights, isolation requests, written complaints. All ignored. Because Harris, the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. Some people wanted them dead. And in Florida State Prison, that's not hard to arrange. Let's rewind. Rashard Murphy was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, just like the others. But his case quickly veered off track. Court filings obtained by local outlets show Rashard asked to fire his lawyer and represent himself. Multiple reports noted his erratic behavior, not just defiance, but deep frustration. He claimed he couldn't communicate with his attorney and that he was being treated as if had already been found guilty.